Are signatures ever necessary? Well, I'm noticing a little trend in both Wuthering Waves and Star Rail. It seems that signatures and first eidolons and sequence nodes are only getting stronger and stronger the more versions we go through. Honestly, Star Rail feels way worse. Like, for example, I've only pulled Yinlin signature in Wuthering, but I pulled like Acheron signature, Jingliu signature, Black Swans. I want Kafka's, I want Robin's. I think the biggest difference really is the utility. Wuthering signatures are just massive stat sticks so far. I mean, it is still a fairly new game, but in Star Rail, some signatures are borderline required to make a character fun to use. Like Acheron's signature, allowing her to build more stacks alone is just crazy. Then we look at Camillia's, for example. So her signature increases attack, increases basic attack, increases more basic attack, just damage buffs. Let's look at Yinlin's signature. Again, damage bonus, more attack, and just more attack. They're just stat sticks. Meanwhile, you look at Star Rail's signatures, and for example, like I said, Acheron's signature just builds more stacks. Robin's signature can just provide a ton of buffs, energy regen, which could help with her rotations and ult uptime. Like, the difference is just crazy. But let's compare the performance of their signatures to their best free-to-play options. Like, let's start with Robin, for example. I mean, her signature is probably one of the strongest in the game. What's her next best free-to-play option? For Tomorrow's Journey at S5, some attack percent, oh, some more damage. Meanwhile, her signature provides even more allied damage buffs, almost triple the amount of attack, and the very important energy regen rate, which could change how she just entirely functions. Who else? Let's look at Rappa. More break effect, energy, advanced forward, that's insane. How about Firefly? Break effect, oh, just a bit more break damage. Oh, and there's enemy speed is lowered, that's insane. Fei Zhao just has more crit rate, that's whatever. Defense ignore, that's pretty big. You know, how about Jing Yuan? Jing Yuan, it seems just pretty much like a stat stick. This is not too bad. If you compare the performance to his free-to-play option, it's not that big of a difference. So it seems like only recently light cones have been getting stronger and stronger for the newest units. I mean, of course, the power creep is only going to get worse and worse, but let's just look at Wuthering signatures, for example. So the 1.0 character signatures are just simply stat buffs. Like, for example, GN signature, damage bonus, just heavy attack bonus, pretty simple. What about, we can go back to Yinlin, like I just mentioned, damage bonus, attack, more attack. Camellia, same way, just buffs. What about Zhang Liao's 12% attribute bonus, liberation bonus? All of it's the same. Changli, her signature is the same, and Jinxi, her signature is the same. But honestly, what's really weird is the damage difference between signatures. Like in Wuwa, some signatures perform almost 40% better than free-to-play options. Like, look at this. The fact that Yinlin's signature performs almost 40% better compared to her best free-to-play option, augments a battle pass weapon for those who don't know, it's actually kind of insane. To be fair though, it is Pridwin, so take this with a grain of salt. I mean, like, look at their tier list. This is just ridiculous. But anyways, Star Rail's free-to-play options might just be better, because as someone who loves the endgame of both games, I notice HP scaling and difficulty scaling way more in Star Rail. A while ago, I made the decision to just invest everything into 3 comps, Jingliu Blade, follow-up comp, my favorite team by far, Ranmei, Kafka, Black Swan, Acheron, and trust me, I noticed crazy power scaling once I tried to beat the endgame without Firefly, Rappa, or Fei Zhao. Now for Wuthering Waves, I've been pulling most characters. Honestly, I've been really lucky, winning almost 50-50. But once I fully completed Tower of Adversity once, every full clear after that felt pretty much the same in terms of difficulty. And again, the game is still fairly new, which means they just might do the same thing Star Rail is doing and just progressively HP scale the enemies, which they most likely won't do. I could see them scaling difficulty based on just harder bosses instead of just HP scaling. So in Wuthering, I know for sure right now signatures are not necessary. They're not even that good. But if Kuro starts scaling enemy HP or enemy difficulty like crazy, which inevitably will happen, it does in every game, then I'm sure signatures will be necessary for people who just suck at the game. Because I think the main difference between Star Rail and Wuthering Waves is the capability of someone just absolutely rolling a boss. Perfect mechanics, perfect timing, getting lucky with crits. There's just more ways of killing a boss in Wuthering than left click until it dies. Whereas in Star Rail, I mean, there's a speed and action value mechanic, energy mechanics you can work around, but really it's about how much damage you can do, because all the newest releases of characters simply just do more damage. That's it. Wuthering Waves doesn't even have that crazy a power creep. Like, yeah, Jian kind of fell off, but Yinlin is insane. Jinxi is still strongest DPS in the game. Zhezhe is okay. Changli is good, but not better than the other two. Zhang Liao is pretty good as well, but not better than Changli. And most recently, Camellia isn't even that much better than the others as well. Both Jinxi and Yinlin, who are 1.0, 1.1 characters, are still the best in the game. In Star Rail, Zila and Jing Yuan were good, but Silverwolf and Luocha were just crazy when they first came out. Even after them, Blade and Kafka were just better. Although some people will disagree with me on Blade, I don't care. Blade is my favorite character, I'm biased. But then 1.3 comes around and we get Imbibitor and Fushuan. It was was just clear power creep from the beginning, whereas Kuro is doing things a little differently, at least for now. The future characters are looking kinda insane. I think the TLDR is signatures are a waste of pulls in Wuthering Waves, but for some characters in Star Rail, signatures are pretty much required, unless you want to just suffer. Like, let's look at some characters who depend on their Lycone the most. First, Acheron. Hers is not a big deal. Besides a damage increase, it lets her build extra stacks, which in some cases decides whether or not you can beat the content. Yun Li's signature completely removes the RNG of getting hit, which is essential for her performance. Kafka's gives her a significant speed buff. Sparkle's gives a ton of crit value. Robin's signature is arguably one of the strongest support Lycones in the game, but the worst case is Sunday. From what we know, his signature can decide whether or not he is able to have 100% uptime on his incredibly broken ult. In Wuthering, someone's signature does not change how they're played or how they feel when you play them and rotate your team. Like, let's look at Shorekeeper, because support characters do tend to be treated differently than standard DPSs. So Stellar Symphony increases HP, that's whatever, restores 8 Concerto energy when she ults, okay, and then increases party members' attack by 14%. So it's not that much of an attack increase. HP is whatever, and 8 Concerto when she ults is not that much. This does not really change her playstyle or speed of rotation almost at all, really. It's a lot of energy regen, but mechanically she will be played and feel the same way as if you were using variation. But yeah, the difference it makes is almost nothing. So it's just really a bit more damage. It's far from necessary. So to answer the question, are signatures ever necessary? Well, in Wuthering, no, never, at least not for a while. In Star Rail, however, signatures are only getting more valuable as time goes on. I'd say that starting from 3.0, signatures will just change how a unit functions, which means in some cases, like Sunday, for example, yeah, some signatures might just be necessary. All right, some just final quick notes. Obviously, nothing is a must pull in these games. Pull for what you want. No one really likes wasting pulls on something that isn't a new character, but it also sucks when your favorite unit is just painful to play. I'm truly wondering in a year or two how the endgame content for these games will turn out. Honestly, please, Kuro, add PvP, or at least co-op PvE. That would make the game even more perfect.